Part 235. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2341. Is this kind of person he can afford? These idiots, let's not talk about it. Zhou, the son of the master of the Wei Pavilion, who is an ordinary first-rank power in the sanctuary of the sky, swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and then nodded and bowed directly to Fang Fan, hoping that there is still time. He really doesn't want to die. Your Excellency Fang Fan, I don't mean to offend, please don't be angry. Ha, I want to know that this lady is your woman, so even if you give me 10 courages, I won't dare to do it again. Your Excellency Fang Fan, please forgive me. Zhou, the son of the master of the Wei Pavilion, who is an ordinary first-rank power in the sanctuary of the sky, rubbed his hands. While talking, his lips trembled unnaturally, his forehead was covered with cold sweat, and he was so scared that he went stupid. It's so damn difficult. Roll. Fang Fan's indifferent voice came out, and Zhou, the son of the Wei Pavilion's master, who was an ordinary first-rank power in the sanctuary of the vault of heaven, changed his face. But thinking about it carefully, I still endured it. Can a man bend and stretch? Yes, I'm going to go, I'm going to go. It won't stain your eyes. Get out now. Zhou, the son of the master of the Wei Pavilion, who is an ordinary first-rank power in the sanctuary of the sky, nodded and bowed, and then ran away in a hurry. Director Fang Fan, thank you. Huangfu Sui stepped forward and sincerely expressed his thanks. If it wasn't for Fang Fan's help this time, the students of Zhenji Shenzone would really have to just leave. Among the Guangming institutes, choosing a college is also extremely critical. For example, choosing the God of War Academy or the Research Academy is completely different. It's okay, just remember to owe me 1 billion. Fang Fan shrugged and said realistically. Anything is fine as long as you get paid. Let's go, enter the 9th floor of the Tower of the Academy, that's where the heroes gather. Do you dare to do a big job? I have a small plan of tens of billions. Fang Fan's eyes scanned the crowd, and then a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. At the same time, on the roof of the top floor of the Tower of the Academy. At this moment, more than 80 mentors from the 4 colleges and the Deputy Palace Master Shui Wanren are standing here. There is an illusory mirror in front of them, which can take in everything in the Tower of the Academy. Deputy Palace Master, isn't it good to do this? In the future, they will practice and study together. They are all classmates, but using this method to make them hostile to each other and start fighting at the beginning, will it make them is the grudge too deep? If this continues, I'm afraid it will not be conducive to unity. While talking, Fu Jing, the dean of the Priest Academy, couldn't help but glance around. She was obviously very dissatisfied with this decision. Of course, if her Priest Academy is placed on the 8th and 9th floors at the top, I'm afraid there will be no objections. Deputy Palace Master, I also mean the same thing. I think Dean Fujing is right. If this continues, everyone is scrambling to join the God of War Academy, and only those inferior students who failed in the competition will be transferred to our other academies. It's too unfair. Already, our refining academy is not a garbage collection site. Zhao Chui, the dean of the refining academy, said gruntingly, with an unhappy expression on his face. Although they don't know that the God of War Academy is the most respected school in Guangming Academy, can't they make it so obvious and keep a low profile? Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu. Chapter 2342. The grading is carried out directly in the tower of the school, which clearly arouses the fighting spirit of those students. To some extent, it expresses a meaning, that is, the higher the floor of the tower of the school, the more awesome the colleges are. This disrupted the deployment of those students. They all wanted to go to higher floors if they wanted to win. If this continued, the survival of the fittest, and the colleges gathered by the God of War Academy must be the best. How can you talk like that? These are the results of discussions between the leaders of the school. Do you have any opinions? My God of War Academy shouldn't be placed on the 8th and 9th floors of the Tower of Learning. Is it possible that your Priest Academy and Refining Academy should be placed there? Dean Fujing, Dean Zhaochui, what do you mean? Gao Song, the Dean of Ares Academy, curled his lips and said with a look of disdain. Combat power is capital. Snort. I didn't say that. I just want to express that this model does have its shortcomings. Why did you set up the 4 colleges when the Guangming Academy was first established? Isn't it because you hope that the 4 colleges can perform their duties and cultivate various talents for the Guangming camp? If you just want to train a group of warriors, why do you need to establish 4 colleges? Just merge the 4 colleges and leave only one God of War Academy. Fujing, the Dean of the Priest Academy, snorted coldly. While talking, the expression of dissatisfaction on her face grew more and more, her complexion gradually darkened, and the feeling of unhappiness gradually gathered. Warfu. What? In the eyes of Dean Fujing, can my God of War Academy only train martial arts? Do you have no idea how many high-quality students have come out of my God of War Academy? Count it yourself, how many 3rd level, 2nd level popes, 3rd level, and 2nd level saints in the major temples of the Light Alliance are all from our God of War Academy. There are so many great alchemists who come from our God of War Academy. The elite students of my God of War Academy are guarding all of this with their lives. Go and find out, how many commanders and generals have died in battle in the history of the God of War Academy. Could it be possible that you have to crouch in the temples of the Light Alliance like those graduates from the Priest Academy and say a few words about the bright world to really repel the demons of the dark camp? Martial arts? Dean Fujing's description is really in place. Gao Song, the Dean of the God of War Academy, erupted in an instant. While talking, his eyes flashed with a sharp and fierce light. Some things can be tolerated, and some things cannot be tolerated. What do you mean? You look down on my Priest Academy. The 4 major colleges perform their own duties, and they have their own inherent order. The God of War Academy cultivates warriors. The Priest Academy trains priests. The Refining Academy cultivates excellent alchemists and weapon refiners. The Research Academy studies high-quality combat techniques and techniques. They all have their own responsibilities and goals. Isn't it too despicable for you to include all the elites in your God of War Academy? I think this is discrimination against other major colleges. Where does this come from? Fairness and justice? Fujing, the Dean of the Priest Academy, continued to speak, with veins popping out of her forehead as she spoke, and she looked extremely excited. Because of being too excited, the wrinkles on his face twitched unnaturally. The scene was very tense for a while. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2343. Fair and Just. Are you talking to me about fairness and justice? Why didn't you come out to talk about fairness and justice when the graduates of my God of War Academy formed an elite assault team? Why didn't you gather those little priests from your Priest Academy to go to the battlefield together? Were you coward at that time? Scared? Now come to tell me about fairness and justice? How ridiculous. Gao Song, the Dean of the Ares Academy, showed a sarcasm at the corner of his mouth, unwilling to give in at all. The graduate schools of my Priest Academy will all be elite priests in the future, so naturally they can't go to the battlefield casually, their lives are precious. Fu Jing, the dean of the priest academy, held her head high and her chest was high, her posture was full, but she seemed a little worried because of her eyes. I scolded Gabeza. Go away. What the hell is the life of the students of your priest academy precious? The lives of the students of my God of War academy are cheap. What the hell are you? We are fighting for the camp of light. We are fighting for the glory of light. Not for you. In Guangming Academy, the strong are respected. Why don't you go to the stage of life and death and fight with me? If I lose, I will take my people and leave. Gao Song, the dean of the God of War Academy, directly uttered dirty words. Once this temperament broke out, it would be difficult to control. Sometimes this wave of words sounds really disgusting. Inexplicably, my scalp feels numb when I hear it in my ears. It's all a thing. It's not a joke. Gao Song, the dean of the God of War Academy, pointed at his nose and scolded him. Fu Jing, the dean of the priest academy, suddenly turned dark. Gao Song. You are still so vulgar. A warrior. Deputy Palace Master. You heard what he said just now? You have to say something. Otherwise, I, the dean of the priest academy, really can't do it anymore. Fu Jing, the dean of the priest academy, gritted her teeth, and her complexion became more and more ugly while talking. Okay. Stop messing around. What is it like? You are the dean of the first hospital, why are you still cursing like a shrew? Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, narrowed his eyes silently, and then said something nonsense. No one is biased, and the old man who makes peace. However, when he said this, he meant that he would not help Fu Jing, the dean of the priest academy, seek the so-called justice. Fu Jing, the dean of the priest academy, was full of anger at the moment, and there was nowhere to release it. That angry look was very real. You all don't look cross-eyed, can't you be a little more reconciled? What's the big deal, as for? Can you learn from Dean Fu Sui of the Research Institute? Look at him, he has always been as immobile as a mountain. This is a good example. Can you set an example for your mentor students? Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, continued, and then pulled out Fu Sui, the dean of the Research Institute, to praise him. Fu Sui, the dean of the Research Institute, is an old pedant, with snow-white hair, cloudy eyes, and a very quiet person. The graduate school is a very comprehensive school. Anyway, no matter how the reforms are made, the Research Institute accepts the worst students, so there is nothing to argue about. Anyway, it is impossible to be worse than it is now. The God of War Academy doesn't want it, the Research Academy accepts it. The Academy of Priests doesn't want it, but the Academy of Research accepts it. The Refining Academy doesn't want it, the Research Academy will continue to accept it. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2344. When it comes to the garbage collection station, the Research Institute is actually worthy of the name. The old qualifications are there, it can only be said that the sea is tolerant and tolerant. I always listen to the Deputy Palace Master. Whatever the Deputy Palace Master says, I will do it. Everything is based on the will of the Deputy Palace Master. Fu Sui, the Dean of the Research Institute, kept his ears to the outside world, and it was only at this time that he felt that it was really comfortable to be the Dean of the Research Institute. It suits me so well. Retirement. You have to look like a pensioner. His words directly expressed his attitude, and by the way, he flattered that Deputy Palace Master Shui Wanren. In the eyes of the Deputy Palace Master, the other principals have become troublesome, but he is as immovable as a mountain. The other deans spat inwardly, and let you say all the good things, right? So shameless. However, this wave has been shown, and the state is actually very good. Heard it? Listen to what Dean Fusui said. This is called enlightenment. How is it like you guys? Arguing about something. Is this something that can be resolved by making noise? There is no measure at all. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, was talking and then complained from the side. Leaving aside the rest, this posture alone is extremely obvious. Just to follow the wave of flaunting. My lord, deputy palace master, I didn't make trouble. I, God of War Academy, have always been the most law-abiding. The arrangements for the palace master and deputy palace master have always been carried out to the end, and there has never been any complaints. I just have to arrange it like this, Lord Vice Palace Master. It not only stimulates the determination of the freshmen to fight, but also makes better use of their strengths. This is very good. That is, some people row the water every day, and they still clamor for high-quality students. Can high-quality students be obtained by shouting? Then you have to be able to attract them yourself. Gao Song, the dean of the God of War Academy, let out a long breath, and the smile on his face was vividly displayed. It's so cool. As soon as I saw the dark face of that woman in the Priest Academy, I felt an indescribable joy. If you are a woman, as long as you don't go too far in all aspects, I will give in if I give in, but again and again, if you just love tossing, then he can't help it. You. The corners of Fujing's lips twitched in anger, but the matter has been settled, and it's useless to make any noise. All right. Everyone be quiet, each of you has to see if there are any high-quality students, and make a training plan in advance. Shui Wanren, deputy head of Guangming Academy, waved his hand, interrupting the continuation of the debate. Everyone looked at the scene mirror in front of them, and they could clearly see the relevant movements of the students on the 1st to 9th floors of the academy tower. The tower of the school, the entrance to the 9th floor. Both Bai Biao and Gui Sha looked at Fang Fan in astonishment, and the expressions on their faces were more or less strange. What is a tens of billions, small plan? Brother Fang Fan, I really don't understand. Gui Sha blinked, and his pupils shone with a different kind of light. This is too strange, my head is buzzing. Fang Fan boy, what the hell are you thinking? Can you really make tens of billions? Take me a little, I don't want more, just give me 5 billion. Bai Biao's eyes lit up, and while talking, the expression on his face became more and more excited. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2345. This guy Bai Biao now has his own small treasury, and there are a lot of star cores hidden in the small treasury. Fang Fan was really curious before, so he asked him why he saved so many star cores. Bai Biao's answer seemed straightforward, and he said at the time that he wanted to marry a daughter-in-law. This guy has completely changed now. Probably because he was stimulated by being around Fang Fan all the time. Seeing the beauties around Fang Fan change from one another, this guy's brains also became alive, and he felt that he had to show off, otherwise it would be too bad up. Fang Fan ignored Bai Biao, but looked at Gui Sha who was at the side. Brother Gisha, the plan is actually very simple. Clean up everyone on the 9th floor, and then we all go to the 9th floor. There are about 200 people here, less than 250 people. According to the regulations of the school, each floor can accommodate 500 people, which means that 250 people can be allowed to come up. When the time comes, we will have the right to choose the entrance. Fang Fan smiled slightly, it was very obvious. His brother Fang Fan, do you want to sell the 9th floor quota? Although the 9th and 8th floors are the recruiting grounds of the Ares Academy, only some second-level mentors and a few first-level instructors of the Ares Academy are here on the 8th floor, and there is nothing to be found on the 8th floor. a particularly top-notch instructor. If those students want to find a high-quality mentor in the Ares Academy, they can only come to the 9th floor. At that time, we will control the entrance to the 9th floor. Whoever wants to enter the 9th floor will have to pay a price. For example, a low-grade star core of 100 million is charged for each quota. Brother Fang Fan, it's you. Gui Sha nodded again and again, with a look of admiration on his face. Or he, Brother Fang Fan, can surprise people unexpectedly. Can you think of a way to make money? Fang Fan nodded silently. It seems that he and Gui Sha are indeed on the same path. He just opened the door, and Gui Sha clearly guessed what happened next. One quota is 100 million, so the remaining 250 quotas are worth 25 billion star cores. Tisk tisk tisk, it's gone. Boy Fang Fan, let's add 2 and 1 to make 5, and one person will be more than 10 billion. Bai Biao rubbed his hands together, eyes full of excitement. What does it have to do with you? Fang Fan glanced at Bai Biao, and then complained. I have nothing to do with me, I can be your thug. Bai Biao held his head high and chest out, naturally proud. Don't you have any idea of your fighting power? The star cores that will be profited this time will be distributed according to the number of people. Fair enough. Fang Fan looked at the crowd and smiled slightly. Certainly. Brother Fang Fan says what he says, and I agree with it. Gisha smiled, and he was also a tosser. Cough, several, isn't it a little too arrogant for us to do this? It's okay to drive them down from the 9th floor. This is in line with the rules of the school, and they can't find us. But if this quota is sold, isn't it too much? Can the tutors and deans of the academy agree? We will definitely be punished at that time. Jianzilang Tianya, a member of the Tianlang sword faction's Tianjian faction, was speaking with a worried look on his face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2346. Obviously, this is a conservative. In every aspect, he feels that there is some risk, which is understandable. After all, the feelings are not the same, and the choice will also change to a certain extent. We all act according to the rules of the school. What reason do they have to punish us? Everything is under the authorization of the rules. Boy Fang Fan, I support you. I have a suggestion. Wouldn't it be great if the star cores obtained here were just divided equally? I think more core personnel should be allocated. While talking, Bai Biao moved closer to Fang Fan with a humble expression. Oh. Speaking of which, for those who have little combat power, less allocation? Or even no allocation? Then you don't want Brother Bai Biao's share. Fang Fan looked at Bai Biao seriously. This guy is totally getting into the eyes of money now. In the past, he was a person with a reputation, but now he is. Cough, when I didn't say anything. Bai Biao curled her lips and complained from the side. Master. I support you too. When are we going up? I can't wait. My big sword is already hungry and thirsty. Yan 11, the sword girl of the Tianlang sword sect, rubbed her hands together and shouted excitedly. Yan 11, this time the school stipulates that it is not allowed to use weapons in the tower of the school. So let's put away the weapons first. This time we will rely on our own fists to fight for everything. Fang Fan stretched his waist, and then walked out first, and more than 200 people gathered behind him. Director Fang Fan, the star core doesn't need to be distributed to us. We are all oil bottles. At this time, Fu Sui, the goddess of Genji Shenzone who was standing aside, said with a slightly red face. She knows all about her own combat power. None of the dozen or so students of their Genji Shen zone have been promoted to the sanctuary level. In this world full of sanctuary bosses, what is it if they are not oil bottles? Now that she has explained the matter clearly, she is also afraid of embarrassment later. For it. Just offset the billion star cores you owe me. That's all. Let's go together, and we can build momentum. Fang Fan shrugged, and then followed suit. Following Fang Fan's order, everyone rushed up. Passing is not allowed here. Get down. Now only the first-class students of the Temple of the Light Alliance, the students of Fan Hai Palace, the students of Tiandi Temple, the students of Tianlang Sword Sect, and the students of the Sanctuary of the Fallen World are allowed to enter. Others, get out. On the 9th floor of the Tower of the Academy, there were many people standing, directly blocking the intersection. Tisk, that's interesting. He's putting things ahead of us. It turns out that it's not just us who thought of clearing the field. First Class Temple of the Light Alliance, Brahma Sea Palace, Heaven and Earth Hall, Tianlang Sword Sect, Sanctuary of the Fallen World, what a big show. Brother Gisha, why do you people from the Fallen Sanctuary stop you? Brother Tianya, why don't you people from the Tianlang Sword Sect give you face? Fang Fan shrugged and laughed aside. Cough, Brother Fang Fan, don't laugh at me. Among the students in the Fallen World Sanctuary, I am not the kind who promises everything. As for 1/3 of the students in the Fallen World Sanctuary, I can dispatch. Guisha shrugged, and then said very sincerely. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2347. After Gisha finished speaking, Lang Tianya added, our Tianlang Sword Sect belongs to the Heavenly Sword Faction and the Spiritual Sword Faction. I am a sword child of the Heavenly Sword Faction. The embarrassing thing is that the Spiritual Sword Faction is much stronger than the Heavenly Sword Faction. It's... Lang Tianya shrugged and said helplessly. In fact, it means that he has no control over the specific situation inside the Tianlang Sword Sect. In that case, then what else is there to say? Wouldn't it be better to kill them directly? Fang Fan squinted his eyes, and while talking, he stepped out ahead of time, and the smile on his face involuntarily increased. What are you doing? How dare you force your way in? Are you crazy? Don't know whose territory this is. Go, stop them. At the entrance of the 9th floor of the Tower of Learning, a wave of battles started directly. The scene once seemed very sensational. But the dozens of students from various major forces at the entrance are naturally nothing, just go up and throw them out forcibly, and it's over. The 6 heroes under Fang Fan's command are all 3-star Sanctuary Realm. In addition, the 9 legions brought this time are all 1-star and 2-star Sanctuary Realm. If they unite together, they will be high-quality combat power. As for people like Guishalung Tianya Yangzi, they are all 4-star Sanctuary level fighters, so they should not be underestimated. Xiao Liyulai next to Fang Fan is at the 5-star Sanctuary level at the moment, and can completely suppress the audience. As for Fang Fan himself, he can summon the power of the 4 great favorites at any time. Right now, 3 of the 4 great pets have stepped into the 6-star Sanctuary realm. Naturally, the combat power in all aspects cannot be compared in the same breath. Fang Fan. How did you break in? Okay. That's great. Heaven has a way, you don't go, hell has no way, you break in. You should take revenge for your humiliation to me before. I will never let you go. Duguayajian, the sword son of the Tianlang Sword Sect's Spirit Sword Force, saw Fang Fan's arrival, and his eyes lit up immediately. He hasn't forgotten the hatred he once had. At this moment, these hatreds gathered in his mind, and they have completely exploded. The vicious expressions on their respective faces are vividly displayed. Before the podium, Fang Fan could break one of his arms in public. Let him lose face in front of everyone. For a person like him, dignity is always more important than life, so it is naturally unbearable at this moment. The trembling appearance is too real. At this moment, while speaking, he was about to rush forward braggingly. It's just that this brain is still not working as well as before. Duguayajian, I advise you to get out of the way quickly. Brother Fang Fan is not something you can deal with. Stop humiliating yourself. Jianzilang Tianya of the Tianlang sword sect's Tianjian faction shrugged, and then reminded him with emotion. Didn't the contest between you take place before? What was it like to be beaten at that time, and I lost my mind? Now it's time to yell again? To be honest, there is really no need for this. Not here yet. What do you mean? Asshole. Are you even coming to ridicule Banjianzi now? Don't forget, I am Spirit Sword Jianzi, and you are Heaven Sword Jianzi. Among the Tianlang sword sect, what is the status of Lingjian Jianzi, and what is the status of Tianjian Jianzi? Don't you have any idea? I was only negligent before, and I was successfully attacked by Fang Fan, a shameless villain. This time he has no chance. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2348. Duguayajian, a swordsman of the Tianlang sword sect's spirit sword faction, was talking. His complexion turned red in bursts, and his eyes shone with a special light as he spoke. With his hands folded in front of him, the whole person was in a state of bliss. His eyes were firm and excited, the corners of his mouth twitched, and the expression of excitement in his eyes was vividly displayed. What should come, will always come. So the students of the Spirit Sword Force. Give it to me. Rush up and beat him to death. Duguayajian, the sword son of the Tianlang sword sect's Spirit Sword Force, let out a roar, and then waved his hand. Hearing what he said, Lang Tianya at the side subconsciously rolled his eyes. Damn, I really thought you were going to rush over like a man. That's it? Still thinking about engaging in crowd tactics? Do you think it is possible? As far as your combat power is concerned, what is your situation? Do you have no points in your heart? We'll fight. Interesting. Then, get off. You should be glad that this is the tower of the school. You should be glad that you can't use weapons in the tower of the school, otherwise, tisk tisk tisk, a sweep will be a big piece. While Fang Fan was talking, his eyes shone with a different kind of light. Immediately, Fang Fan walked forward very calmly, one with each hand, and directly threw it away. With a proud attitude, hang and beat all dissatisfied. Fang Fan immediately felt comfortable. More than 100 students from the Tianlang sword sect's spirit sword faction Duguayajian who gathered around the Tianlang sword sect's spirit sword force were thrown from the entrance to the 8th floor one by one, with extremely cruel methods. But no matter what, he still saved his life. Seeing that there are fewer and fewer horseboys around him, Duguayajian was suddenly overwhelmed. How so? According to the normal situation, his crowd tactics should have killed Fang Fan. Why are you so strong? You have a problem. Are you on drugs? Duguayajian, a swordsman from the Spirit Sword School of the Tianlang Sword School, murmured unnaturally with his lips, then took a deep breath and said, his eyes shone with a special light as he spoke. Does this have anything to do with you? Go away. Fang Fan picked up the Duguayajian with one hand, then threw it into the air and spun it around, and finally kicked it away. Everything is settled with the dust. The scene immediately stabilized. Everyone's eyes gathered here, and the expressions on their faces changed. So humming strong. So strong. Fang Fan and others forcefully entered the 9th floor of the tower of the academy, naturally with an attitude of crushing everything. There are still thousands of students in the original 9th floor, All of them are sanctuary realm. Originally, they fought on their own, but now seeing the entire army of students from the Tianlang Sword Sect's Spirit Sword Force being wiped out, they immediately regarded Fang Fan as their enemy. It's so frightening. This wave after wave is the rhythm of wanting to do things. Fang Fan. It's you. It was so hard for me to find you. Let's settle the old and new ones today. After seeing Fang Fan, Ying Yu, the young master of the Tianshan Temple, an ordinary first-rank power in the Sanctuary of the Sky, his eyeballs changed. He shouted and rushed over excitedly. Fang Fan also fought against him in the assessment field outside the Guangming Mountains before, and in the end he was forced to choose to use the distress order to escape. The reason why he can continue to stand here is naturally because he came in through a special channel, and now he is regarded as a non-staff student. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Divine System of the Strongest Card Supplier in the End Times, Doomsday Strongest Card Supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2349. If you want to go, let's go together. Don't be like a gourd baby saving grandpa, it's too troublesome. It's good to get it done once. Fang Fan stretched, then rushed forward, calmly picked up Ying Yu, the young master of the Temple of Heavenly God, and threw it down again, repeating this action. Watching the number of people on the 9th floor of the Tower of the Academy gradually decrease. And Fang Fan's performance at this moment is naturally remarkable. The top floor of the Tower of the Academy. This Fang Fan is not bad. Good boy. The combat power has even reached the 6-star sanctuary level. It's clearly the peak quasi-sacred realm. How did this happen? From the eyes of others, the battle of leapfrogging is extremely difficult, but to him, it is as casual as eating and drinking. Horrible. As Gao Song, the dean of the God of War Academy, spoke, his eyes shone with a different kind of light. Cough. This apprentice, I want it. The dean of the God of War Academy glanced around at the mentors of the God of War Academy, and then said calmly. In fact, this wave seems a bit shameless, using his identity as the dean to suppress people. Dean, what you said is wrong. This student Fang Fan hasn't said which mentor he will choose from our God of War Academy. You can't buy and sell by force. Sima Zhen shrugged his shoulders and said with a smile. This mentor Sima Zhen is indeed a handsome middle-aged man, with a sexy beard on the corner of his mouth that is very eye-catching. That's right, teacher Sima is right, Mr. Dean, you can't rob our apprentices just because you are the dean. To be the dean, you have to look like the dean. Wu Lang, another super tutor of the Ares Academy, smiled slightly, then slowly got up from his seat and followed suit. Because of a serious injury, Wu Lang, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, had his limbs amputated. 1/3 of his legs were cut off, so he looked shorter than ordinary people. According to normal means, it is entirely possible to increase height by taking certain holy medicines, but this Wu Lang super instructor of the God of War Academy has not done so for a long time. According to him, sometimes being a little shorter can reduce the enemy's defense, so that you can achieve a one-hit kill. This time, the God of War Academy sent 4 super mentors, and one of them was the head of the God of War Academy himself. Now 2 of the remaining 3 super tutors have made complaints. Gao Song, the dean of the God of War Academy, seems somewhat embarrassed. This is a bit overwhelming. How embarrassing. But at this moment, naturally, I can't lose face. Cough. It's useless to say that some of these are useless. If Fang Fan is trained under my hands, he will definitely become a God of War in the future. Gao Song, the dean of the Ares Academy, rubbed his hands, and looked at Fang Fan's fighting figure in the scene mirror. His eyes became deeper and deeper. Cut. Pull it down. You dead poor, Any good seedlings can only become mediocre under your hands. Genius should be tempered 1,000 times. Only a genius who walks out of the dead is a real genius. Among the crowd, a middle-aged man in a black robe with disheveled hair came out silently. His face was haggard and he looked a little rough, but his eyes were very bright. When the surrounding people saw the black-robed middle-aged man in front of them, their complexions changed. Divine system of the strongest card supplier in the end times, Doomsday strongest card supplier. Author, Shu Yu. Chapter 2350. Master Uncle G. Cough, Teacher Grand Uncle, you don't need to worry about a seedling with this kind of qualification. This is also an excellent qualification in the history of our God of War Academy. We can't afford to lose it. Sima Zhen, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, couldn't help but have some black lines on his brows. While talking, his eyes couldn't help but turn to the surrounding area. In fact, this has already made the attitude very obvious. Who doesn't know the prestige of this undead mentor Uncle G of the God of War Academy? The reason why it is called a necromancer is because it is too difficult to be his apprentice and graduate alive. Out of 10 apprentices, 9 of them may die in the middle way. There is another one, who was basically disabled when he graduated. This is not looking for a mentor, this is finding a nemesis for myself. Teacher Grand Uncle. Fang Fan can't be your apprentice. At this time, Murong Yu, the first level tutor of the God of War Academy who was standing in the corner, suddenly stepped forward and said firmly. Originally, she was quite happy when she heard these super mentors and the Dean of the God of War Academy talking about Fang Fan. It is also her wish for Fang Fan to have a better development. But when he heard that this undead mentor Tai Shuja also had an idea to recruit Fang Fan, he couldn't sit still at all. She doesn't want her little friend to die young. Little Murong. It is you. How can you be so sure? He, it's not that time yet. What if this guy has a unique vision and picks on this old man? GGG. You know, students have the right to choose their tutors. If he is willing, can you still stop him? Tai Shuja, the super tutor of the God of War Academy, was talking, then silently nodded, his eyes flickering brightly. It's getting more and more interesting now. Dean. Murong Yu saw that he couldn't understand Tai Shuja, so he glanced at Gao Song, the Dean of the God of War Academy, hoping that Gao Song could help suppress the wave. Cough. It's useless to tell me. I can't control this guy. Gao Song, the Dean of the God of War Academy, smiled wryly, said helplessly, and then rubbed his forehead. The feeling seemed quite deep. At this moment, his head was buzzing, it was really difficult. Now this situation seems harsh. This guy is an existence that even the demigods dare to provoke. Although he is the supreme saint, and Tai Shuja is only a high-level saint, but if there is a real fight, it is really not sure who can win. Murong Yu opened his mouth, and then looked at Shui Wanren, the deputy head of Guangming Academy. Don't worry, that kid isn't that tough, he's a smart monkey, he knows how to choose. It's just that I'm a little curious, why do you care so much about this matter? This kid doesn't have any special relationship with you, does he? I saw this kid with several female students, you. Shui Wanren, deputy head of the Guangming Academy, widened his eyes instantly, and the gossip expression on his face became more and more intense, but most of them were still shocked. If this is true, it will be too scalp numb. This wave after wave, what kind of trouble is it going to be? Cough, this is all your private matter, I shouldn't have to deal with it, but he is a college of the academy after all, and you are the tutor of the academy. It's kind of strange to say it.